Beneath the UK's streets and countryside lie ancient tunnels veiled in dark secrets and restless spirits. Tonight, we reveal chilling, untold tales of 10 haunted tunnels you'd never dare to enter alone. 1. Drakelow Tunnels. Beneath the unassuming landscape of Worcestershire, hidden under the old Blakeshall estate, lies a labyrinth few dare to explore. The Drakelow Tunnels, stretching an eerie 3.5 miles, were once a wartime factory built into the sandstone, a place where machines whirred and men toiled in silence, shielded from the bombs raining down above. In the Cold War, they were transformed into a top-secret government bunker, a last resort in case of nuclear disaster. But today, these tunnels serve no nation. Only the shadows remain. Those who venture inside speak of a chilling atmosphere that sets in almost immediately. The further you walk from the entrance, the heavier the air feels, as if the very walls are watching. Torches flicker without cause. Radios pick up static and whispers in empty chambers. You hear footsteps behind you, and when you turn, the corridor stretches on undisturbed. It's easy to lose your sense of direction. Time, too, seems to slow down or stretch unnaturally. Several paranormal groups have attempted overnight investigations. Some never made it through the night. One team claimed to hear heavy breathing echoing through the dark, growing louder the deeper they went. Another reported a door slamming shut behind them with such force it cracked the plaster from the ceiling. And perhaps the most unnerving, a visitor spotted what appeared to be a man in RAF uniform standing at the end of a side tunnel. He lifted a hand as if to salute, then slowly vanished into the wall. Locals speak of workers who died in tragic accidents during the tunnel's construction, their deaths quietly swept aside in the name of wartime secrecy. Others whisper about Cold War experiments, areas sealed off, never reopened. Whether it's restless spirits or residual energy from years of tension and fear, something lingers in those tunnels, something that doesn't want to be forgotten. Drakelow isn't just a relic of war. It's a place where silence screams and shadows follow you home. If you ever visit, take a torch, hold your nerve, and whatever you do, don't go alone. 2. Blea Moor Tunnel. Hidden beneath the rolling hills of the Yorkshire Dales, between the Ribblehead Viaduct and Dent Station, lies a stretch of railway few passengers give a second thought. The Blea Moor Tunnel, 1.5 miles of damp, echoing stone, cuts deep beneath the moorland. It is the longest tunnel on the historic Settle-Carlisle line, and according to those who know its story, the most haunted. Built in the early 1870s, the tunnel's construction was a brutal feat. Miners worked in near darkness, blasting through stubborn rock with dynamite hauled in from miles away. Wages were modest, 5 shillings a day for risking life and limb. Accidents were frequent. Collapses, explosions, and gas pockets claimed lives silently, leaving families with no explanation and no bodies to bury. The dead were often left where they fell, entombed within the walls they helped create. Over the years, railway workers have spoken in hushed tones of strange sounds deep within the tunnel. Not the rumble of passing trains, but singing. A low, melodic hum, like men at work, or mourning. Some have claimed to hear picks striking stone, long after the last shift ended over a century ago. One driver recalled a freezing sensation creeping into his cabin as he passed through the midpoint of the tunnel. No explanation, no change in weather. Another swore he saw a flicker of lamplight far ahead on the tracks, bobbing gently, until it vanished into the wall. There are tales of maintenance crews refusing to go in alone, and always the same warning: If you hear voices behind you, don't turn around. They're not meant for the living. Locals say the moor never truly gave up those it swallowed. The tunnel, carved by desperation and sweat, holds more than stone and history. It holds memory, and memory in such places can turn cruel. You may enter Blea Moor alone, but there's no guarantee you'll be the only one walking through. And if the cold starts to rise suddenly, without reason, and you feel like you're being watched, you probably are. 3. Miley Tunnel. Beneath the quiet streets of Deepdale, north of Preston, lies a tunnel long since sealed off from the world above. Once part of the bustling Preston and Longridge Railway, the Miley Tunnel, stretching 862 yards, was built in 1850 to carry industry and ambition through the heart of Lancashire. For decades, it echoed with the rumble of trains and the clang of iron. But time passed, the tracks rusted, the tunnel fell silent. By the mid-1990s, its purpose was gone. Trains no longer passed through. The tunnel was closed, left to the darkness. Yet silence doesn't always mean peace. Over the years, locals began to whisper of strange things heard beneath the ground. Echoes, footsteps, whispers in the dark. Those who lived near its entrances reported hearing the distant sound of wheels on rails, though no trains had run in years. Urban explorers, drawn by curiosity and rumor, found more than just mold and stone. One group claimed their torches flickered violently as they reached the tunnel's midpoint. Another heard a voice, soft male, say, "Mind the gap," followed by laughter that didn't belong to anyone in their party. Some have felt an overwhelming dread as they walked further in, as though something unseen grew restless with each step. There's a story passed quietly through the years of a railway worker who died during maintenance, crushed beneath a collapsing beam. His body was removed, but some say his presence never truly left. Those who spend time near the old line sometimes speak of seeing a man in uniform, standing completely still, staring down the tunnel until he simply fades. Perhaps it's just the acoustics of the stone, or the mind, playing tricks in the dark, but many believe the Miley Tunnel never fully let go of the lives it once carried. Abandoned places have a memory of their own, and sometimes they speak. So if you find yourself near Deepdale and feel a chill you can't explain, remember, beneath your feet, something may still be listening. 4. The Greenwich Foot Tunnel. Far beneath the familiar banks of the River Thames, where tourists wander and city lights shimmer, lies a passageway few truly consider. The Greenwich Foot Tunnel, stretching beneath the river from Cutty Sark to the Isle of Dogs, was opened in 1902, built for the working class to cross between home and labor. Functional, efficient. But like many old places buried under London, it carries with it more than just footsteps. During the day, it feels almost ordinary. A narrow, tiled tunnel lined with echoing footsteps and the occasional cyclist whizzing past. But at night, when the river above sleeps, the tunnel takes on a different mood. The air grows colder, still. Every sound is amplified as though the walls themselves are listening. And some who walk alone after dark say they are not, in fact, alone. There are stories. A man who vanished in the tunnel one foggy night in 1915. His body never recovered. Workers who claimed to hear knocking from the walls during maintenance shifts. And more recently, accounts from late-night walkers. The sound of someone running behind them, heavy boots slapping against stone, only to turn and find the tunnel completely empty. One woman described hearing a voice, soft, polite, unmistakably British, say, "Evening, miss." When she turned, there was no one there. She walked faster, The voice repeated closer this time, but she never saw a soul. It's easy to imagine, surrounded by brick and steel, that the tunnel is just infrastructure. But London is a city built in layers, each with its own stories, its own ghosts. The Greenwich Foot Tunnel, clean and practical as it may seem, is no exception. It has seen war, blackouts, floods, and decades of silent passage. Some say all that history leaves an imprint, not quite living, not quite gone. So if you ever find yourself walking beneath the Thames and the hairs on your neck rise for no reason, don't look back. Some things down there prefer not to be seen. 5. Leighbeer Tunnel. Tucked away in the quiet countryside near Plymouth, Devon, lies a forgotten stretch of railway long since swallowed by time. The Labia Tunnel, short by railway standards, just over 600 metres, was once part of the South Devon and Tavistock Railway. Trains passed through for nearly a century before the line was closed and the tunnel left to the wild. Overgrown, forgotten, but not quite empty. Walkers who ventured near the entrance describe a strange stillness in the air. It's not just the absence of sound, it's something more. The birds stop singing, the wind dies, and the mouth of the tunnel, dark and yawning, seems almost to breathe. Those who've stepped inside often leave quickly, overcome by a sudden sense of dread. Irrational, but overwhelming. According to local law, a fatal accident occurred here sometime in the early 20th century. A worker, young and newly employed, was struck by a maintenance cart during an overnight shift. No formal report was ever filed. But ever since, strange things have been whispered. A pale figure spotted just out of torchlight. The sound of metal on metal, scraping, dragging, when the tunnel should be completely silent. Some visitors speak of a strange tapping sound that echoes from deeper within. It's rhythmic, precise, like tools being used, though the tunnel has been disused for decades. One couple claimed they heard someone muttering from the darkness, a voice repeating a phrase neither of them could fully understand. They didn't stay to find out more. Others say the tunnel feels colder than it should. Not just cool, but wrong. A creeping, heavy chill that settles into your bones, the kind that doesn't lift when you step back into daylight. A few have returned to their cars to find scratches on the paintwork, always the same. Long, thin lines, like something was dragged along the side. Leighbeer Tunnel may not be long, but some journeys don't need miles to leave their mark. In a place once alive with steam and steel, now buried beneath soil and shadow, something waits. Not angry, not kind, just there. And in that kind of silence, even the smallest sound can be terrifying. 6. Queensway Tunnel. Deep beneath the River Mersey, linking Liverpool and Birkenhead, lies the Queensway Tunnel. Opened in 1934, it was once the longest road tunnel in the world. Every day, thousands of vehicles pass through it, unaware of the stories hidden in its shadows. Those who work in the tunnel speak quietly of strange occurrences. Footsteps echoing in empty corridors, flickering lights in places where no one should be, and an inexplicable chill that settles deep in the bones, especially in the dead of night. A figure in an old-fashioned uniform is often glimpsed by night shift workers, standing still, watching silently from the far end of a service tunnel before vanishing without a trace. Some say he is a spirit from the tunnel's long and difficult past, a reminder of the men who lost their lives during its construction. During World War II, the tunnel served as an air raid shelter. Thousands sought refuge underground, but some never left. Locals tell of soft cries and distant singing echoing through sealed sections, voices carried by the stone walls themselves. Visitors have reported hearing whispered voices and sudden noises that cannot be explained. One late-night patrol officer saw a dark figure walking inside the tunnel, but no one was ever found after a thorough search. Cameras showed nothing but flickering shadows. The tunnel hums constantly with the noise of cars above, but beneath that noise lies a different silence, heavy and watchful. Some say Queensway carries the weight of the past, the memories of those who built it, lived in it, and those who never left. It is more than just a tunnel. It is a place where history lingers. And sometimes, if you listen closely beneath the hum of traffic, you might just hear footsteps walking in the opposite direction. 7. Sanson Tunnel. Nestled along the rugged coastline of Yorkshire, near the quiet village of Sanson, lies a tunnel wrapped in mystery and shadow. Sanson Tunnel, carved into the cliffs over a century ago, once carried trains through the North York moors, connecting communities and lifelines. But today, the tracks have long been lifted, and the tunnel stands abandoned. A dark artery swallowed by time and tide. Locals tell of an eerie quiet that falls over the area once the sun dips below the horizon. The crashing waves of the nearby sea fade into silence as if the tunnel itself absorbs all sound. Those brave enough to venture close speak of whispers carried on the wind, voices just beyond comprehension. Some say the voices belong to lost travelers, forever wandering in the dark. Legend has it that a railway worker disappeared inside the tunnel decades ago. Despite extensive searches, no trace was ever found. Since then, strange happenings have been reported. Flickering lights deep within the tunnel, shadows moving where no one should be, and the chilling feeling of being watched. Visitors describe a coldness far harsher than the sea breeze, a biting chill that clings to skin and soul. Several have reported sudden drops in temperature and an overwhelming sense of despair, as if the tunnel is mourning a tragedy long buried beneath its stones. One common story speaks of footsteps echoing behind wanderers who explore after dusk, only to find the tunnel empty when they turn around. Others claim to hear distant mournful singing, a haunting lullaby carried through the coastal air, drawing listeners deeper into the darkness. Sanson Tunnel may no longer serve its original purpose, but it remains alive in whispers and shadows. A place where the past lingers, where unseen presences wait silently beneath the crashing waves and rugged cliffs. And in that silence, every sound becomes a warning, every whisper a secret best left unheard. 8. Blackwall Tunnel. Beneath the flowing waters of the River Thames, connecting the East End of London with Greenwich, runs the Blackwall Tunnel. Since opening in 1897, it has been a vital artery for the city, a tunnel bustling with traffic day and night. But beneath the hum of engines and the rush of commuters lies a quieter, darker world. Those who work within the tunnel's dimly lit service passages whisper of unexplained noises, faint footsteps pacing slowly, distant voices just out of reach, and an occasional breath of cold air that chills to the bone. Some maintenance workers refuse to be alone down there after dark. The tunnel's history is shadowed with tragedy. During the early days of its construction, several workers lost their lives to accidents and collapses, events that were swiftly buried in official reports, but never truly forgotten by locals. One chilling tale speaks of a lone figure, dressed in old-fashioned workman's clothes, spotted by security cameras, yet never caught on patrols. The figure is said to appear near the southern entrance late at night, standing silently by the tunnel walls before vanishing without a trace. During the Blitz of World War II, the tunnel became a refuge for Londoners seeking shelter from the relentless bombing. It's said that echoes of those fearful nights still linger in the air, faint sobbing, whispered prayers, and the distant clang of unseen footsteps. Drivers sometimes report sudden drops in temperature as they pass through the tunnel's darker sections, and some swear they've glimpsed fleeting shapes in their rearview mirrors, shadows that disappear when looked at directly. Blackwall Tunnel carries more than just vehicles beneath the Thames. It carries memories, echoes, and perhaps something else, a restless presence that moves silently through the darkness. Next time you drive beneath the river, keep your eyes peeled. Sometimes, in the heart of the city, the past never truly stays buried. 9. The Victoria Tunnel. Beneath the bustling streets of Newcastle lies the Victoria Tunnel, a nearly 2-mile-long underground passage carved in the 19th century to transport coal from the mines directly to the River Tyne. While its original purpose was purely industrial, the tunnel's story took a darker turn during World War II when it was converted into an air raid shelter, protecting thousands of civilians from the relentless German bombing raids. But safety came at a price. The tunnel became a place of refuge, yes, but also a place haunted by the fear, despair, and loss of those who spent nights hiding beneath the city above. The cold, damp walls have absorbed decades of sorrow, and some say that the tunnel never truly forgot. Visitors to the Victoria Tunnel often speak of a sudden chilling drop in temperature as they descend into its depths. The air grows thick, heavy with the weight of history. Echoes of footsteps seem to follow, though no one else is there. Whispers, soft, unintelligible, float on the stale air, as if the voices of long-past evacuees linger just out of reach. One particularly haunting tale centers on a young boy who is said to have died during the tunnel's construction. Workers supposedly saw a fleeting shadow of a child, and some visitors have reported feeling a light tug on their clothes as if the boy's spirit still roams the dark passageways, forever searching for his lost place in the world. Explorers of the tunnel describe a creeping sense of unease that grows the further they venture. Torches flicker inexplicably, and some experience a feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. Others have told of unexplained cold spots, where the temperature plunges sharply and a suffocating silence descends. Even today, the Victoria Tunnel stands as a silent witness to Newcastle's layered history, a hidden world beneath the modern city, where echoes of the past remain vivid and raw. It reminds us that beneath the surface of progress and life, the memories of fear, hope, and loss continue to haunt in the dark. So next time you find yourself walking the streets of Newcastle, spare a thought for the tunnel below and the souls whose stories are whispered through its shadowed halls, stories that refuse to fade into silence. 10. Clayton Tunnel. Nestled beneath the rolling hills of the South Downs near Brighton, Clayton Tunnel is a dark, narrow passage with a history steeped in tragedy and mystery. Built in the mid-19th century as part of the London to Brighton Railway, the tunnel stretches just over a mile long, but its legacy extends far beyond mere distance. In 1861, Clayton Tunnel became the site of one of the earliest and most devastating railway accidents in Britain. A catastrophic signal failure led to a deadly collision inside the tunnel, claiming 23 lives and leaving an indelible mark on the area's history. Since then, strange reports have surrounded Clayton Tunnel. Locals speak in hushed tones of ghostly figures glimpsed at the tunnel's entrances, shadowy forms that vanish when approached. Some say the cries of the victims still echo faintly, carried by the cold stone walls, haunting the long, dark passageway. Railway workers have reported unexplained sounds, metal scraping, distant screams, and the eerie clatter of phantom trains rushing through when the line is quiet. Visitors have described sudden drops in temperature inside the tunnel, a chilling cold that seems to seep into their very bones. One of the most chilling accounts comes from a night guard who claimed to have seen a woman in Victorian dress walking along the tunnel platform, her face pale and expressionless. When he called out, she vanished into the darkness, leaving only a cold breeze behind. The tunnel's dark reputation has made it a magnet for ghost hunters and thrill seekers, but many who enter report feeling an overwhelming sense of sorrow and unease, as if the tunnel holds the memories of those lost forever. Clayton Tunnel is a reminder that some places carry the weight of their past, shadows that refuse to fade and whispers that echo beneath the quiet hills. So, the next time you travel through the South Downs, remember the stories that lie beneath your feet and the restless souls that may still roam the tunnels in the dark. If you crave more spine-chilling tales and haunted legends, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Don't forget to like, share this video, and tell us your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Join Creepy Experience, where the shadows come alive.